Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, December 15th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. And without further ado, let's get into the news. It's part of, the story. Becky Lynch is boycotting Raw until her demands are met. She's blaming her championship loss on Jessica Carr, and she's getting her attorney involved. This is just really good stuff on Becky's part. A judge has ordered Vince McMahon linked doctor to turn over payment records for the Janelle Grant's medical bills. Listen, this court case is not going anywhere, and we just got to keep following. Masha Slamovich is no longer a part of TNA. Obviously, she went through that domestic abuse allegation with her former partner Akira. But TNA has left the door open for Masha to return in 2026 after, the investigation is finished and seeing on what side she comes through. This Max hoodie person, we do not know who they are, but what is going on is they're going to keep having multiple people under the hood until they are fully revealed. So you can see them in different heights, different weights, different sizes. This is all good. Bad Bunny has snuck into a CMLL event wearing a mystical mask. This happened last week, and he just wants to watch wrestling. Now, he had to wear the mask because could you imagine Bad Bunny just showing up and just sitting in the front row without there causing an absolute riot? The dude just loves professional wrestling. Eddie Kingston has confirmed that he will retire after his AEW contract ends. I think he's got about 6 years left on his contract. He just wants to make his money and go buy a place up in Alaska and just F off. We will see what goes on there. Judges allowed the Ring Boy abuse lawsuit against Vince McMahon and Lennon McMahon to move forward. This is not going away. Brandon Thurston obtained the court documents, and the judges allowing the claims to move forward. The WWE Women's United States Championship is about to enter its 1 year mark this week, and it has reached an interesting state. It has changed hands 5 times across 3 different brands, but not once has the title changed hands on a premium live event at all. It changed hands on a Saturday Night's Main Event, where we crowned the first champion, a Smackdown, I think it was a Smackdown in Saudi Arabia, and Smackdown. So clearly the title was not held in just the same regard as the Women's Intercontinental Championship. AEW has announced the Global Wars United Kingdom show. It will be airing December 18th on Honor Club, with pretty much Ring of Honor versus wrestlers in the UK, because AEW is currently in the UK right now. The last time is over. John Cena tapped out in his final match to Gunther. It was a solid affair, really fun match, and you just go out, and Cena put up a great fight. Fans were not happy at all. AEW has announced the date and location for Dynasty. Dynasty will be taking place Sunday, April 16th at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia. They will also be doing a Dynamite and Collision on the 1st and on the 8th, which is really good. Canada does it again on the injury side of things, and AEW started undergoing surgery after an injury setback. That'll be none other than Drilistico, who is out for the time being. Layla Gray has torn her ACL, so she was on a roll and she just came back, getting things going, so she will be out. JD McDonough will be taking time off as he is undergoing surgery, and also Bobby Lashley is on the shelf and he will be out for a good minute. But that is the week in review, and should be right back. Well, that is the news, and she'll be right back with the week in review. Alright, it's the week in review. You know how we do. We start off with Monday Night Raw. This was the go-home show, for Saturday night's main event. And we start with Gunther in the ring. He is Cena's final opponent. He says he will end John Cena. He will squeeze the last ounce out of hustle, loyalty, and respect, and he will force him to do something that Cena has never done, which is give up. Then we had Io Sky versus Kairi Sane in just a a good match, but I've seen better from these two. Like, these two could put on a 5-star banger, 6.8 stars in a Tokyo Dome type of match. But ultimately, Io Sky got the victory after some interference from both parties. We were backstage with Paul Heyman, and he spoke about Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman handling the Rey Mysterio issue for Logan Paul, and Heyman's kind of hyping up Logan Paul, gives him the brass knuckles just in case. Then we were with Logan, Ray, and LA Knight. Logan attacked Ray from behind with the brass knuckles. Then a masked mystery man briefly appeared and attacked Ray before fleeing through the crowd. Logan Paul then landed another knuckle punch. LA Knight ran out for the save, chased Logan away, so we're going to get that match later in the evening. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defended the World Tag Team Championship against the War Raiders in a fine affair, but ultimately the team of Styles and Lee retained. Then the Usos came out. The New Day were on commentary for this match, so now we're in the ring with the Usos, the New Day, the War Raiders, and Styles and Lee. And Jimmy and Jay announced that they are officially back in the tag team division, acknowledging their recent losses and recommitting to chasing gold. Okay, let's see where things go. Stephanie Vicaire was interviewed, and she says actions speak louder than words. Nikki Bella came out to interrupt her, but Nikki Bella got her ass handed to her by Raquel Rodriguez, who wants the women's championship because she was skipped over. Lara Valkyria took on Roxanne Perez, but Roxanne got W after some interference. This was a really solid affair. Logan Paul versus LA Knight in the main event. Logan attacked LA Knight before the bell. Knight dominated early, but Logan Paul ultimately got the win after the masked mystery man appeared again and attacked LA Knight, allowing Logan Paul to hit the top rope splash for the win. After the match, Breaker Spirit Knight then re-landed 2 tsunamis, took him to the back, dropped him with while he was taking Knight to the back with Logan Paul, Braun Breaker cut another promo saying he's going to end CM Punk. And then in the back, Knight caught a tsunami on top of a car. Tsunami through a table and the tsunami on the roof of a car. Over on Dynamite, this was Winter is Coming. And just a fantastic affair. This show, we don't do many now, ladies and gentlemen. This show gets 2 thumbs up. It was an awesome show. The opening contest was the Timeless Love Bombs and the Babes of Wrath fighting to become the first ever women's World Tag Team Championship, and this was just fun, solid, and you have the crowd solidly behind both teams. But ultimately, the Babes of Wrath won after Harley Cameron hit her finisher on Mina Shirakawa. And after Willow took out Toni on the outside of the ring, she dropped Mina with the sit-out powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. We have our first ever women's tag team champions. They were interviewed in the ring by Renee Paquette, and Willow talked about trust and perseverance through this difficult year, talking about her stuff with Mercedes, her stuff with Athena, her stuff with Chris. And Harley said she was in disbelief at winning her first title, and then Toni and Mina celebrated with them. So this was great. Samoa Joe cut a promo. He was flanked by the Ops, and he framed Eddie Kingston as someone chasing something that Joe already embodies, and he described himself as ruthless by design, and he's going to give Eddie what Eddie asked for. Then we followed up with Moxley the stairwell with the rest of the Death Riders, and he says if you need ideal circumstances to try, then you suck. And he raised his group's work ethic. Danny Garcia followed up, emphasizing taking opportunities rather than waiting for him, because he will be getting his shot at the TNT Championship on Collision. Kazuchika Okada took on Jack Perry in I believe this was a Blue League match. I forget which league they are in. I think this was a Blue League match, but it was a solid affair. It's good. Jack Perry did not pick up the win, as Okada ended up biting him in the dick. Lord, hit the Rainmaker for the W. We were backstage with the Don Callis family, and Callis offered Perry a spot in the faction. Well, actually, no, we were back in the ring. And look, he said, "Yeah, I'll give you this money, this Young Bucks money." Perry turned him down, trying to fight off the rest of the family. Luchasaurus tried. The Bucks came out, and then finally Kenny Omega came out. Okada ate a BTE trigger, and Takeshita took a couple super kicks as well. So we got some moving parts going on here. The lead is back. I think the Death Riders might be getting. Hold on. The conglomeration celebrated the tag team title win of their 2 members. Well, Harley is not in. I guess she's in now. And Toni and Mina also joined them as well. Eddie Kingston spoke emotionally about fear, legacy, and this was the anniversary of Terry Funk's death, and he promised Joe to bring a fight to Joe, and he wants the real Samoa Joe. Mark Briscoe celebrated his TNT title win and bluntly addressed his doubters, and he announced that he'll defend against Garcia at Collision, and Willow interrupted him. Briscoe then got into it with Garcia as Yuta insulted Briscoe, and Garcia said he's going to finish this, but things were held to a temper. Swerve and Hangman ended up defeating Hobbs and Shibata in a tornado tag match. This I thought would go longer, but it did. It only went 8 minutes. After the match, Josh Alexander was backstage watching. Stokely Hathaway cut a promo mocking entitlement and promised Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn a title shot against FTR next week. I believe this is the Holiday Bash. Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Mike Bailey might have just had the TV match of the year. This was a Continental Classic matchup, and it went almost to the time limit draw. It was an awesome match. Go back and watch it. Ultimately, Mike Bailey got the win with a straight jacket pin with using his legs as leverage. This was awesome. The match went 19 minutes. Hangman answered and declared his intention to challenge for the AEW World Championship at World's End. Then the Bucks accepted Kyle's 6-man challenge about getting the money, and Kenny will be joining them. And in our main event, Samoa Joe took on Eddie Kingston, defending the AEW World Championship. This was a physical, emotional main event with Kingston rallying repeatedly, but it was all for naught as Joe weathered the storm and eventually locked in the coquina clutch, forcing Eddie Kingston to tap out. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Kingston will be world champion before it is all said and done. He might get like a Mick Foley reign. Over on Impact, we got more with the war within NXT. This show gets a fist. We opened up with the King's speech segment. TNA champion Frankie Kazarian, he came to the ring. He bragged about defeating JDC and leading TNA into the AMC era. TNA finally has a good TV deal. Mike Santana appeared in the crowd and was like, yo, I'm going to get my title back at Genesis. Matt Cardona took on Lexus King of NXT. Stacks interfered and Cardona hit him with radio silence, but the interference was just enough. Stacks interfered again, allowing Lexus King to get the win and use the cane. Steve Macklin made the save after the match. Backstage, the Angel Warriors, Lady Ling and Zaya Brookside, talked about their upcoming match at Final Resolution. Lady Ling will be defending her women's knockout championship against her tag team partner, Zaya Brookside. And even though they'll push each other to the limit, they will still remain a tag team. They were confronted by Tessa, Mila Moore, and Victoria Crawford, and Robert Stone, who challenged them all to a match. Harley Hudson and Marla Grace took on the Elegance brand. This didn't go long. The Elegance brand ultimately won in about 3 minutes. I'm glad they're still pushing the Elegance brand, even though Ash is out. On the injury report, we got Matt Cardona, Mustafa Ali, and JDC. We got a clip airing showing what happened between Leon Slater and AJ Francis at Final Resolution. Gia Miller interviewed Rich Swann backstage, and he said he was done being disrespected. Declared first class is over. AJ Francis attacked him from behind. Jake Something took on BDE, Ryan Nemeth, Desmond Xavier, Jason Hodge, and Cedric Alexander in a 6-way scramble with an X Division title shot on the line. Mustafa Ali was on commentary. Ultimately, Cedric Alexander got the win, hitting the BDE, hitting the lumbar check on BDE to secure the win. The System cut a promo with JDC saying he will bring it against his boy Eddie Edwards. Santino made some announcements. He announced that he was with his daughter, Ariana Grace, and she's clearly about to turn on him and join her fiance at Stacks. He talked about the challengers for Kazarian. He announced the TNA title will be defended against the Battle Royal winner in 3 weeks. He also revealed that Matt Cardona was injured and he will be replacing him in the TNA versus NXT Steel Cage match. And Ariana slapped Stacks for insulting her father. Just a red herring. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers went on to defeat Saint and Sinner. The Hardys were confronted by the Righteous. The Righteous, they're not getting involved. They're just watching. Indi Hartwell and Dani Luna were shown warming up backstage. Santino and Ariana Grace appeared on the stage. Santino announced again like he will replace Matt Cardona in the match. And Indi Hartwell and Dani Luna faced each other in just an absolutely brutal dog collar match. Dani Luna won and she was just bleeding like a stuck pig. She hit the Luna landing, scoring the win. Dog collar matches are probably some of my favorite matches. You have to get really creative with it. Over on SmackDown, this was the Saturday night's main event go home show. Nick Aldis announced that Drew McIntyre is still suspended and he's attempting to find a reason to bring him back. Drew hasn't returned his calls or texts. Cody wants Drew back, and Drew saying this is an unsafe work environment. Hilarious. Cody crumpled the attorney letter. But whilst Cody was in the ring, out came Oba Femi. They have a match against each other at Saturday night's main event. Oba says, even though you're overlooking me, you should, because your time is up and my time is now. You have to deal with the ruler. The funky ruler. Okay. Anyway, we were backstage with Ilja, who was approached by Fraxium, says they will back him up just in case DIY gets involved. Ilja ended up finally defending the United States Championship against Tommaso Ciampa in a great match. This came close to being as good as the Fletcher speedball match. Ultimately, Dragunov won, getting the win with the roll up. After the match, Melo made the save and teased the tense moment with Dragunov. We were backstage with Kathy Kelly, who interviewed Javon Evans about his match tomorrow, and he was challenged by The Miz. The Wyatts called out the MFTs, and look, they're in the ring. And Uncle Howdy addressed Solo, accusing him of abusing his family, claiming the Wyatts have the real power. He laid the tag team titles and said, yo, you want these, come and get them. Solo says, listen, we'll come and get them on our own time. Rhea confronted Charlotte and says, no matter what happens, me and E are coming for these tag team championships. Alexa went on to go to lose to Last Legend. This was a match just to establish Last. Charlotte and Nia both got involved. Backstage, Zelina and Aleister Black cut a promo against Priest and Ripley for the match later in the evening. SmackDown sadly is going back to 3 hours. Javon Evans went on to defeat The Miz, hitting him with the OG cutter to score the upset win. Backstage, we had a big confrontation between Lash, Nia, Rhea, Priest, Jade. Everybody's just getting involved. We're mixing things up. Before Michin could even get into her match with Jade Cargill, Jade attacked her backstage. Michin tried fighting her on the ring and still got ultimately laid out. And in our main event, the Terror Twins team of Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest went on to defeat Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. There was a really scary spot where Zelina was trying to counter, I believe, the Riptide into a cold red, but it was just a bad botch. Everybody's fine. Ultimately, Priest and Ripley won with double Razor's Edges. Razor's Edges, yeah. Over on Collision, this was Winter's Coming. We were in the UK, I think we were in Scotland, and the opening contest was Swerve versus Josh Alexander in a really solid affair. We really got to see Alexander and do what he does and really get a good solid opponent in Swerve. But this was really good. Swerve ultimately got the win. Fans got to get on how to get involved with Swerve entrance. I know the new theme is different. It's hot. I mean, it's a banger by Raekwon. So when the chorus goes, whose house is this? You go Swerve's house. Whose house is this? Swerve's house. Whose house is this? Swerve's house. Prince Nana, you gotta get on it. After the match, Swerve's like, let's make one thing clear. I'm coming for the AEW World Championship, plain and simple. Kenny Omega agreed to team up with the Young Bucks to take on the Don Callis and get that money back. Backstage, Toni and Mina joked about the new tag team chambers, but promised chaos because they want the belts. Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter ended up defeating the Sisters of Sin. This was the best the Sisters of Sin looked in a long time. I just wish they would have won the match. You can't keep having Sky and Julia lose, especially when they are one of the bona fide tag teams here. After the match, Jamie Hayter made it clear she wanted Statlander's title, and then they were backstage with Lexi Nair, who confirmed that the match will be going down. Then we had Claudio versus Takeshita, Blue League Continental Classic matchup, and ladies and gentlemen, horse fight. Just beautiful, just beautiful. We were all waiting in anticipation for this match, and it was just as good as it made out to be, and it went to a time limit draw, which means they gotta get the get back one more time. They actually continue fighting after the match until the Don Callis family and the Death Riders separated them. So remember, the Death Riders and the Don Callis family made a deal to stay away from each other. That might not continue. Jesse were interviewed backstage for their match. The Babes of Wrath were in the ring celebrating, and the Timeless Love Bombs came out and celebrated with them and said, listen, we want the championship. Mercedes Moné came onto the stage and said, I want those championships. I'm going to get it. And well, the girls were like, well, there's 4 of us and there's only one of you. Mercedes said she's going to get a team of killers, and that team now includes her, Athena, Marina Shafir, and Megan Bain. Will be taking on the Babes of Wrath and Timeless Love Bombs next week. Let's effing go. We got an announcement for the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. It's a AEW staple. Ricochet's going to be in it. Then we got a recap of everybody else who's going to be in it. Orange Cassidy, Mark Davis, Anthony Bowens, who just found out Max Caster's going to be in the match. So we'll see. I'm assuming MJF's going to come back, and he's won the match like every year. Kevin Knight, Speedball took on each other in a Gold League match. Ultimately, Speedball won this match, hitting the Rubik's Cube, which is like a kind of a version of the One-Winged Angel. Solid affair. So we've pushed Mike Bailey up the rankings, but I expect Kevin Knight to get maybe one more win. Then we got some videos from Pac and Kyle Fletcher, and they both promised to end each other in hype of the upcoming match. In the main event, Mark Briscoe took on Daniel Garcia, defending his TNT championship, and this was solid. This was a solid affair. Ultimately, Mark Briscoe won, hitting the J Driller. The conglomeration came out after the match to celebrate with Mark Briscoe. This was a good episode of Collision. The Continental Classic just puts things together beautifully. Our matches of the week, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple. It's been a minute since we've had this many matches. From NXT, Oba Femi versus Javon Evans for the NXT Championship. From Dynamite, the Babes of Wrath versus the Timeless Love Bombs to crown our inaugural AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions. Also from Dynamite, Kazuchika Okada versus Jack Perry in a Continental Classic Gold League match. Also from Dynamite, the Speedball Mike Bailey Kyle Fletcher match, and Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW Men's World Championship. From Impact, the Danny Luna Indi Hartwell Dog Collar match. Let's go check that out. From Smackdown, Dragunov Ciampa United States Championship. From Collision, Claudio Takeshita Continental Classic, check that out. Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, check that one out. And from Saturday night's main event, Gunther, John Cena, The Last Time Is Now. Our stars of the week, Mike Bailey, John Cena, Gunther, and of course the Babes of Wrath. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look on the screen what we got coming up. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, of course, 215 on Twitter. See you when I see you. Peace.